Hey,
Are we or not?
are we? Yeah, I think we're
Oh,
live. All right,
yes.
yeah.
Good.
Welcome everybody. Nice to see you all. Glad to see a couple of people here already. Ready to join in for the fun of tonight's stream. It's been a while,
Yeah.
weeks or whatever. So thanks for coming,
Too
guys.
long.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is Don't Worry Wednesday, the show where we talk about whatever issues or whatever thoughts or concerns you guys have, whatever you're worried about, whether it
Mhm.
be something you're going through or maybe something your friend is going through. Maybe you're having troubles or conflicts in your family life or your friends, or maybe you just don't know how to mountain climb all that well and you're looking for some advice.
Yeah.
Either way, we're here to give you our best. We don't necessarily have all the right advice. We can't guarantee that anything we say will help you, but we're here to mostly give you encouragement because a lot of times you already know what the answer is. You just need to be encouraged to take that step
Mhm.
because you guys are smart. Anyways, yeah. So we're not professionals in terms of psychology or philanthropy, but we're gonna do our best to give you our best. And so yeah, welcome. You can if you have any concerns, you can obviously leave them here in the chat, or you can put them on our website as Princess Yellow has just posted. Thank you for doing that. You could also send us an email at dww@bss.studio, or even send us a message on our Discord if you have our Discord accounts. So plenty of options, plenty of ways to get a hold of us. And if you want to be anonymous, I think that dww@bss.studio, the email, is probably the best way to get a hold of us and let us know that you want to be anonymous.
It
So
is.
yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
Awesome.
How are you?
You look great.
You
I
know
like
what? I
your.
think interestingly enough, we got a thing from I didn't mention this before.
I'm doing good.
I think I got Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
Someone someone sent a message to our DWW email.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. A gal who sent they're wanting to see this if this person would like to be a guest on our
Oh,
podcast.
okay.
So I yeah, I was like, interesting.
That's something we could talk about on I guess tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
Opening up the stream
I brought
for.
that up on the stream.
Yeah, no, it's good actually because we want to have a chance to get more people,
Ah,
guests and stuff like that on here. And we've been talking about that for a while. So if that person happens to be here, yeah, we actually do want to do things like that. It would be interesting. I guess, yeah. We have our meetings. BSS has meetings every Thursday at night. So, well, we're gonna probably be talking about that a little bit. Uh, can't guarantee anything happening anytime super soon, but sometimes you just got to get the ball rolling in some direction, and you'll eventually get the momentum to become a real thing. So,
yeah.
um,
I
yeah,
apologize. My brain's all like in 5 different directions right now. And you mentioned DWW at BSS.studio. I was like, hey, we just got an email at that
ah,
address from some dude.
nice. Yeah, that's cool though. That's cool. It would be nice
Yeah.
to get other people on here. Yeah.
Yeah. Joseph Kennedy. I gotta tell you, the last time we did this was 2 weeks ago, actually, because I saw you ask that question up above, and there was a whole bunch of chat between then and now, and I didn't get a chance to address that. But I wanted to let you know we did take last week off. Jesse was traveling, so we had no producer. So the show we could have probably made it go on without him, but it just worked so much better with him there, and he really runs things way better than either me or Ryan. So
Hmm.
um so anyway, uh that's that. So I'm doing wonderfully. Ryan, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks. Doing very well.
You look very well.
Thank you very well. Very much.
Your owls are kind of in disarray back there, though, I must say.
They're having a time.
Your family of owls is like
Here, let me rearrange them.
they're they're all
Here you go.
out of order and out of whack and everything, and there's a paper bag over there, and
Yeah,
the baby's like laying on its side on the ground and
that's how babies lay.
on their side on the ground.
Yeah, that's pretty typical of baby kind. There you
Yeah.
go. Now it's a tower.
Nice. Nice.
Is that acceptable right there?
That is super,
You
super
should
duper.
criticize it. Tell me what's wrong about it.
No,
Is it because I'm in the way?
no,
There.
I said it was super.
No, you need to be saying more bad things about it so that I can know what to fix, Joe.
Um,
It's all good.
they're up against a wall.
Uh-huh. Deal with it.
You just wanted to say deal with it.
No, I just came up with that part. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna turn this around right now. All right. So yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
at
Oh,
any rate, we got some
Joseph
topics and we got
Kennedy
some
is right.
people.
Okay, got it. Yeah, we've got quite a few topics. We got quite a few people with concerns that they want us to deal with tonight. So that's great. We've got our schedule kind of ahead of us. We have some that were sent to us. Or I have one that was sent to me through Discord like 2 weeks ago, before 2 weeks ago.
Mm.
So I definitely want to do that one. It was from Random, and then he's not going to be here because he can't make it to Wednesdays. He was only able to make it to the Friday ones, but we stopped doing those. And so he asked me on Discord about it, and he had one, and I said, sure, yeah, I'll get you. I'll let you know when we do it on Wednesday, and I'll send him a message. So I think that'd be good to do that one today. We
Sure.
also have a backlog of other ones, and then yeah, so cool. Let's see here. Yeah, Akil's here. Tep is here. I don't see Cherry yet, but that's all right. Hyrule, is Hyrule here? Not sure. But anyhow, I think would it be cool if we start with randoms and then move on from there?
Sure.
You all right with that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's listed in the on the sheet though, so you can find it. It's about voice.
Ah, okay. It's not. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna post the link. Thanks, Princess, for putting this in for us last minute here and making it available for everybody to read. So this is from
Yes,
Random.
thank you,
It says,
Princess.
how can I work towards improving my voice? I'm not sure if this is a question for Don't Worry Wednesday or Don't Fret Friday, but I love singing and it took me some time to realize that I didn't sing that well. How would I improve my voice? How can I hear me singing from an outsider's perspective? Some people tell me that I sing well, others tell me that I need improvement to varying degrees. And the more I read into singing, such as transitioning to falsetto smoothly and singing well in falsetto, better control over my chest voice, etc., it makes it seem like an ocean that I should map. I still can't do something seemingly as simple as singing a particular note exactly one octave higher. Additionally, I'm terrible at assessing my own abilities, which is something I need to be able to improve and do the best I can. Oh, sorry, which is something I need in order to be able to do the best I can. Got it. I don't know what many of the things are that I'm capable of. Does it seem too spread out? Also, because I don't know the extent of my abilities, I end up hurting others sometimes.
Mm.
And that's what they wrote. There's some good questions here. And since we're both musicians, I think it's kind of nice because this is technically our profession. So I'm not a vocal trainer, and it impresses me when I find people who are, because they have really good ways of explaining things and telling you how to learn new abilities. And when I am like, oh, I know how to do this, but I have no idea how to tell anybody how to do it or how I'm even doing it. So vocal trainers are really, really awesome. And personally, right off the bat, I would suggest if you want to become a better singer, while I never had a vocal trainer, I don't know if that's what you want to call them, but anyways, they certainly know what they're doing and can help better than I can, at least, especially in this short amount of time that we have together here. But yeah, so there's a a couple of different things that we can talk about here. But anyhow, I'm gonna land it over to Joe and see what kind of things he might have to say.
Yeah, it's this is a very good question. And it's true. That is such a good question. How do I hear myself singing from an outsider perspective, right?
Hmm.
And the only way to hear yourself really is to record yourself and listen to it. But every person that I've ever known to do that can't stand the sound of their own voice, at least at the beginning. They're
Hmm.
like, because it doesn't sound like what you think you sound like, because you hear the recording, you're like, that's what I sound like. That's annoying, right? Like a lot of people, I've been in the same boat. There've been a lot of people that say I sing well. There've been a lot of people that say you know, they don't like how I sing, and there there's been all in between there. But how to improve?
Nice, Jono.
Why did you
Jono's
say
funny
that?
because it's like, how do you? It's over text, and he's like, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't even know. Are they supposed to be pitches or just loudness?
Yes, but you know what? I'll tell you what. I am with Princess and Cherry on this, and to have some kind of a voice teacher or lessons. I was in choirs, so I always had there was a teacher or a director that would help each of us individually. I sang in choirs growing up as a kid, mostly at church and stuff like that. So we had a director that would kind of help us along the way. And then I actually got into a group called Michigan Singers. That was the first singing group that I actually had to audition for. And they were a touring group that went around the state and then some into the Midwest, into neighboring states.
That's cool.
And we sang there, since everybody had to audition to be there, everybody kind of was already at a certain level. And so the director kind of then could tweak us to another degree on top of that because we already had basic skill and he knew we didn't have to work on that. So we could kind of take it to the next notch. Now, after that, I never did any other training. But I know that I used to work at a music store and they had a full lessons program and everything. And they did everything. They had vocal teachers, guitar, piano, any instrument you wanted to take lessons in. They had the whole thing. And so I would bet in wherever your local area is, you would be able to find some kind of a place where they have lessons of some sort. And it would be worth the money to just, even if you just go for a few lessons, that would give you a great assessment of where you are at. So at least you would know, right? You would kind of know from the outside perspective where you're at. And then how do you get better? You just do it. You sing. That's how I've gotten better. It's just when I do it all the time, I get better. When I stop doing it, I don't get better. In fact, I kind of get worse. It helps to be in shape as opposed to out of shape. Part of that's going to be practicing singing. Some of it also can be any type of cardiovascular exercise, anything that gets you breathing heavy, so running or aerobics or, something that gets your heart rate up and makes you breathe heavily. That type of exercise is going to work the right organs and muscles to help you be able to sing more. Also, any type of core exercise, because everything comes from your diaphragm. So when you work your midsection and strengthen your midsection, you're also strengthening all those muscles that support your breath. And then that will give you much more control while you're singing. But I think above and beyond all of that is to just do it. Find music you like and sing along with it. Find music that fits your voice. Like if you think of your voice and you think of some kind of style, now this can be deceiving, right? Because I my voice is a certain way, but I didn't want it to be that way. I like rock and roll and funk and stuff like that, but my voice is more of like a smooth, more of like a jazz smooth kind of voice. But I wanted to be a rock and roll singer. And so I was kind of always singing rock and roll stuff, and I was always having a lot of trouble, you know, doing all this crazy stuff that rock singers do. And then I started singing along with crooners like Sinatra and Michael Bublé and uh, some of these guys, right? And I started to notice my voice, just my natural, the way I sing, fits in with that type of style. Now, I can take that singing and I can put it in any kind of music I want, right?
Mhm.
But it's just that's the type that I was like, oh, my voice kind of naturally flows with these guys. And so I'm gonna sing along with these guys, sing the songs that I know, um, and go from there. So I would definitely find stuff you like, find stuff that you think your voice just kind of naturally goes along with, and then blast it in your stereo and sing along. If you have long drives, it's perfect
Mhm.
because you can just sing while you drive. If you don't have long drives, then, find a way to play music wherever you're at. It helps to be by yourself because then you're not embarrassed to just go full out. And yeah, just do it. And you will notice marked improvement the more you do it. So that's my best advice um, on singing. As far as assessing your own abilities, I think all of us are terrible at that. We all, to
Yeah.
some degree, need somebody to tell us where we're at. And we need somebody to be honest about that. And it can be hurtful sometimes. So it helps to find people that, that
That you
aren't
respect.
gonna, yeah, that you respect, and that also they're not gonna be just like ridiculously mean about it, you know?
Mhm.
Um, as somebody, I've counseled a fair number of people, and I know that when they tell me, just be blunt, tell me like it is, I know that they don't want that.
Yeah.
They do not want me to be blunt and tell it like it is. Absolutely, they do not. And so, you know, if find somebody who's naturally encouraging, someone who can speak that into your life, that can be a hard person to find. But encouragers always give the best advice because what they're going to do is they're going to find those little critiques, those little criticisms, like how you set up your owls, and they're going to sandwich it with encouragement. So they're going to make sure that you leave that session believing you can be better, knowing what you need to fix, but then empowered to do the things it's going to take rather than just defeated like, oh, I'm terrible. Oh man, I'm never going to be good. Oh man, you know, to avoid that. But anyway, I've spoken for a while. I want to hear what Ryan has to say because Ryan knows singing.
I don't know about that. Um, so, there honestly, I look at myself and I look at other people, and I'm often wowed at the capabilities of other people, and just like, wow, they're such a good singer. Over the last 2 days, I've been listening to a lot of Toto. You don't know what Toto is?
Mm.
It's a band that did "Hold the Line." Hold the line.
Ba-na-na-na.
Yeah. Love isn't always on time. Oh, oh, oh.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Hold the line. Yeah, okay, anyways.
Da-da-da-da-da.
I love that. But, like, I'm listening to, like, these guys sing, and I just didn't sing very well right there, but anyways, um, I'm listening to the people in that band, everybody in that band sings. I was surprised because I'm like, "Wow, I didn't realize that." Um, and oh, they're also the one that did Africa. I
Hmm.
miss the rains down in Africa.
Which incidentally, the Frog Leap Studios cover of that,
I know, I love it.
fantastic.
Way better. I'm sorry. Toto, you did an amazing song. You did an amazing song. I love Frog Leaf Studios version
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
That's so good. I
That's
like
my
how
favorite of his covers.
yeah, mine too. I like how instead of going ooh, like he goes oh yeah at the end um of the chorus. It's just awesome. Anyhow, so I there are all sorts of people out there that are way better than me. And I think that that's spectacular because it's just cool to see everybody has their own voice.
Mhm,
And while you can continue to improve it, and I think that everybody should that
mhm,
wants to be a singer, continuing to improve it, continuing to expand your range and everything and your uh, techniques
mhm,
and all of that kind of stuff, which is all done by singing. You just sing. The more you sing, the more you experiment with your voice. And I think, a couple people in the chat were talking about that. You experiment with your voice. Um, I remember doing that for hours, just like was driving down the road for 4 hours straight, just doing weird things, seeing what kind of sounds I can get out of my voice that is also a pitch. Um, and I developed all sorts of weird, new, interesting things that I'm capable of doing simply because I tried doing them. There was a particular song I was like, how would I do this song? Because it's done entirely with like vocal effects using like electronics. And I came up with my own version of it and how to actually manipulate my voice to do it. So trying to just experiment with your voice it can really improve your voice and what you're capable of. But I think it's really important what you said before. How do you how do you hear yourself singing from an outsider perspective? Um, because that is really, 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 really important. And I'm really impressed that you brought it up because that's one of the main things that keeps people back from being an incredible singer is the ability for one to listen to themselves in their ear and make the adjustments necessary. So I didn't start trying to learn how to become a singer until I was 19. I sang a little bit at church. I hummed along to video games. Um, that's about it. And church wasn't really much, a couple songs, and then, like, we would only do it for, like, in mass once a week. It was not, like, extensive at all. And I wasn't trying to be an incredible singer, I was just trying to do my best at the time, whenever we sang. Actually, mostly I was trying to be the lowest I could get because me and my brother would always, like, try to have this battle, like, "Who can get lower? Who can hit this low note this week? Next week, it'll probably be different." Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So you got all those trying to like be super low. That's why my voice I think ends up being in the range that it is, um, which is a lower range. Even though people are like, "Wow, you could sing really high," I have troubles up there. Um, but anyhow, um, my point is, it is really, really important to listen to yourself. I think my major advantage of learning to try to sing when I was 19, because that's really late for a lot of people. They start singing like, you know, when they're young. 19's not old, but I mean, it's still young, but it's not like as young as like most people start trying to learn how to sing professionally or whatever. They really committed already by the time they're middle school or something, or like high school. I was in college. So, anyways, my friend told me I wasn't a good singer, and I was like, "Okay, I'll get better," right? Like, it didn't put me off. It didn't make me feel like, "Oh, I'll never be a good singer." And so I'm glad you have that passion to say, "You know what? Some people say I'm bad, some people say I'm good." And honestly, I told myself like, "Hey, Ryan, you're pretty good." Though my friend was like, "Yeah, you're not very good. You should maybe just not sing. It's better if you just play the piano or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." You can have that opinion. I think I'm pretty good. You know? So I continued. And I am definitely way better now than I was back then. That's because of practice. But as I was saying before, um the thing that drove me forward the most was being able to hear myself and try to make critiques. Because singing is essentially this. You go, ah, your brain goes, I hear that note. Is that note on? No, it needs to be lifted up like this much. It needs to increase in pitch by this much. And then your brain fixes it. If you ever hear anybody sing, um, you pay really close attention, or you have something that can show you what it looks like, their pitch and how their pitches go, you'll notice that most of the time, people don't go right on to every single note perfectly. They shift up, and then their brain catches how much off they are in a fraction of a second. In 2 milliseconds, the brain can go, "Oh, that's just a little bit too high. Let's knock it down just a touch." And then they're right on the note. Because our brains are incredible. Our brains are power machines. Like at quickly picking up a pitch and then saying, "That's not on. Let's shift it." But you need to be able to increase your ability in that. The more that you can increase your ability in that, the better you're going to be at singing, period. Because then it's just a matter of how much are you practicing to control your voice. If you control it, if you can control your pitch well and your brain can tell you when you're on exactly, then you've got pitch mastered. Um, and it's as simple as that. Now, if you like me, if you only sing like every once in a while, your control isn't that great, but your brain is still because
Mm.
I'm always composing music. Um, so when I hear myself sing, I can usually pick up whether I'm like, I can pick up when I'm three cents off, and I can tell because I'm like, ooh, I don't like that, and I'm really particular, really peculiar. And it's kind of like I'm really particular about other people too when I hear them, and I'm like, ooh, that's just like a couple cents off, but of course I don't say anything because it doesn't really matter. But anyways, how do you get better at paying attention to that? And I think there's a couple of different ways. Some people, it's just by being around music a lot and being a
Mm.
part of it.
Mhm.
It's not about listening to a lot of music, it's about being a part of the music. Because then when you have control over it, then your brain starts to really pick up on it and make it part of its own talent. So, like Joe suggested, singing with music, that's great. But if you are just singing with music and you're not paying attention to yourself and how you sound, you're never going to learn. Singing music is not good enough. Record yourself singing to music and listen back to it. Then your brain will start to notice itself. And then on top of that, playing an instrument is really useful. I played instruments for a long period of time, and that helped me develop my ear for hearing whether things are in tune or not. So I play the alto saxophone, but I also play the piano and things like that. Alto saxophone's nice because it's an instrument where you can tune. So most woodwinds and brass instruments, you tune them, and you know when you're not on. Um, and the more time you spend with it, the better your ear gets to figuring out how on you are. So I wouldn't necessarily, if you don't already have an instrument and you're not planning on becoming good at an instrument, I'm not saying you should put in the effort to learning how to get good at an instrument just so you can learn how to sing, right? But my point is, um, paying attention to yourself while you're singing, making sure you're on. It doesn't matter quite yet. I guess you'll get there when you get there, but the tone of your voice, you'll eventually learn how to retone your voice for different genres and things like that the more you play around with your vocals. Um, and again, that's just practicing, spending certain amount of hours a day singing. Um, but yeah, I think for me, when I improve the most is definitely when I just spent time practicing, spending a certain amount of hours every day singing. And that really improved my voice. And I wasn't singing all the time. Sometimes I was just playing with my voice and doing experimentation. I would say another thing that was really crucially helpful to me is watching what I eat and drink before
Mm.
singing,
Mhm.
because everything you eat and drink goes over your vocal cords and it gets stuck in your vocal cords. You drink something like milk, it produces a ton of really thick, loose phlegm that is
Mhm.
really inconsistent. And you try to sing after drinking milk or even maybe brushing your teeth, certain things will make your voice not work right. And that's because your vocal cords are now under the stress or having to deal with extra layers of phlegm when it's just not used to dealing with.
Mm, mhm,
Other things like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily suggest getting into alcohol, but certain acids like alcohol or certain like lemon and stuff like that, people go for because it clears their throat of all of the phlegm because it's an acid that helps to just clear and make everything go away. Problem with that is if you're trying to sing any rock or anything like that, don't don't stay far away from alcohol or anything that clears it or any acids because what you end up doing is you get rid of all of the phlegm, you're being on a raspy voice, your throat takes the damage, and that's what causes a lot of singers to damage their vocal
mm,
cords.
mhm.
It's because they've been drinking alcohol and then going on stage and performing and then absolutely tearing their throat apart.
But it's rock and roll life, man.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, you just be careful. But if you're going for like a really smooth and clear voice, yeah, yeah. Pay attention to what you're drinking. Certain drinks, like I think that is as much as I don't prefer drinking this, certain energy drinks, especially the ones that have taurine in it. Taurine is a certain chemical that creates a phlegm in your throat, which is really nice for taking the damage, but it's thin but strong. It holds up. So I actually like to drink certain energy drinks, but I don't ever do that because I know that energy drinks are unhealthy. Um, so I I usually drink maybe like coffee can help, but then again, coffee could also be really bad for your voice. So yeah, just pay attention to what you're drinking. What I would do is experiment also, which is what I did for like 2 years straight. Is just try to find any drinks I've never drinking before, drink them, and see what they do to my voice after I drink them. Like drink them and then like wait 10 minutes and start singing and see, okay, is this helping my voice or is it hurting my voice? I found that everybody's slightly different because everybody's learned to sing with different amounts of phlegm in their throat. Everybody's learned to sing and control their vocal cords differently. So experiment for yourself. What drinks help you sing and what drinks hinder you? And for food, I would just say try not to drink or eat too much food before you sing because obviously um, breadcrumbs or whatever linger in your throat. That's really inconsistent and will really hinder your vocal abilities. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I hope some of that helps, but I would say you wanting to know what your voice sounds like from outsider's perspective is really an important question to ask. And yeah, I would go with Joe's. Mainly listen to yourself in a recording, r- record yourself and listen to it, or um, do a try to pay active and really close attention to your voice. An exercise that I would recommend is if you have a piano, or even just go to Google and search for piano, playable piano, or whatever. You can press a key and it'll do a note. Try to hold that note and listen extremely carefully to your voice and holding that one note. And listen, the closer you get to hitting that note, the you'll hear these waves that happen. And the waves are going to be waves of volume because what happens is you have a pitch, and pitch is like a vibration. It's a wave. It goes back and forth. And if your pitch lines up with another pitch, they're going back and forth, increasing the volume, increasing the intensity of that waveform. The closer you get to the pitch, you'll hear these waves slow down and get slower and slower and slower. It'll be like kind of like you experience in like
Just like that.
dubstep.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
And that's what you'll hear in your ear the closer you get to that pitch. Doing that for like 15 minutes every day will really help your brain to figure out what's on pitch and what is not. So that would be my major recommendation. Find something that you can just play a note and then try to get your pitch to hit that note exactly. Um, and just do that for like 15 minutes. You can pick a different note. Like, okay, I did that note. I mastered it. I got it on. I could tell. And then you go do a different note and you're like, okay, I'll try this one now. And just, if you spend 15 minutes a day for like the next 2 weeks, which seems like a commitment, but if you did that, I bet that you would be really impressed with your improvement, as far as getting your pitches and stuff like that. So, and being able to also not just getting your pitches, but being able to hear what you sound like, being able to hear whether your tone matches the song that you're singing. Like Joe was talking about, his voice doesn't necessarily match the rock style, but it matches like a jazzy style really well, right? Or like I guess a big band style. Um, and so you'll be able to pay attention to your voice more while you're singing to a song. And then you'll be able to pick out, okay, what do I need to change about my tone to make it work with this song better? That's just like one of the most helpful things you can do for yourself. I know I went on for that for like hours, but
That was
sorry.
good stuff. Well,
Yeah.
one thing also, just the fact, random, that you're asking this question and that you're a little bit unsure of your abilities, and that you are, that you're thinking along this line, that tells me already that you're good. Without even hearing you, I would bet that you're a good singer because you're concerned about it. The people who, there are two different types of singers. There are singers that are really, really good and they don't feel like they're all that great. And that's why they get better, because they keep trying to get better and better. And then there are people who think they're just like God's gift to the singing world and they're terrible.
That happens.
And like, that's really, so the fact that you're asking this tells me a lot about your abilities already, that you do have some ability there. It just needs some refinement. And if you take the tips that Ryan gave you, also, I can't stress enough, find somebody to take a few vocal lessons with, at least to just determine where you're at, just to get some feedback from somebody in person, real time, that can tell you where you're at. And then keep this in mind too. As you're doing all this, it's great. You want to get better. If all you listen to is Static P, you're going to be really depressed about your vocal ability. I know I am.
That guy's terrible.
When I listen to
copy
Static
him.
P, I'm like, man, I am terrible. I am not a good singer at all, because I'm listening to Static P music and I'm like, wow, because that's just because Ryan is such a great singer and he's spent so much time singing and refining his voice and getting better and better and everything. I mean, I remember the first Ryan
Oh yeah, they weren't
recordings.
Very good. They were not very good.
They were something.
Let's be honest, right? They were something. Yeah,
they
were
were
special.
they were really something. I mean, he always had the seed of the ability, and he always had the desire of making it work. And he had great arrangement capabilities. He had great compositional skills. His singing, while it wasn't as refined as it is now, it wasn't bad. It just was kind of rough. It wasn't polished like it is now. But if I listen to his stuff now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've got so much work to do. Oh my gosh, I'm so terrible.
Joe, you're in the car all day. That's what I did, man. You could get good real quick. Spend like 8 hours singing until you can't sing anymore.
I don't have long stretches like you do, though, man.
Oh, that's
I've
true.
got like
That's
house.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I had
you
5.
zone it out. Just be like, yeah, I'm singing on your front lawn while taking pictures. I don't care.
Dude, I had 5 stops in a 2-block
Oh my gosh.
section the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making like $10 a minute right now.
Yeah, that's actually pretty great. That's pretty great. Yeah, you make more money than
all this is beside the point. But at any rate, so if you can take some time and practice, but think about this. Listen to recordings. Listen to singers. It doesn't always take extreme talent to be successful. In fact, you'll find a lot of the people who are massively successful, their talent is, I mean, they're not bad, but they're not like exceptional.
Right.
Now there are some that are successful that are very exceptionally talented. and they're successful and they're extremely talented. But there are so many, like, I can't tell you how many times the most talented musicians, singers, instrumentalists, any area of music, the most talented ones I've heard, they're broke. They're playing gigs for like no money in small towns, and it's like, and they're so exceptionally talented. But the thing is they haven't figured out how to get themselves out there. They haven't figured out how to expose their talent to the world, right?
Hmm.
It's the people that have the guts to put their stuff out for the world to listen to. They're the ones who get successful. It's not necessarily the super talented ones. You
Hmm.
can have buckets and buckets and buckets of talent and be unheard of
Yep.
because
It's true.
yeah. And I've heard that so many times. Now some of these guys have caught some lucky breaks and gotten hitched to some pretty big name acts, and so they play supporting roles in some big acts, and so they get to tour around the world and all that stuff. But really, if you take what you have and work with who you are, work with what you have right now, and start doing stuff. Start putting things together so you can take somehow, there's a way to get your abilities where they are now out into the world. I mean, with the internet, everything's available. YouTube, Spotify. I mean, I've released stuff on Spotify. It is not hard to release stuff on Spotify. The very fact that I've done it tells you it's not hard. Like,
Yeah.
seriously. But if you just start that path, you'll be amazed, absolutely amazed at where you can go. And you'll be amazed at the item that tips the, that tips the tips it in your favor. Like, I remember when Ryan first started releasing Criminal Idol stuff, and he got a few views here and there and everything, and it was awesome. Like, Detective loved it, absolutely loved it.
Hmm.
And then, you know, um, Life Might Take Us, loved it. Loved every bit of Criminal Idol, all of them as he was releasing them. I was like, yeah, this is great. These are awesome. And then the one I was kind of meh about, It's Not Like I Like You.
Hmm.
And that's the one that was like, boom, exploded all over, millions and millions and bazillions of views. And we were watching it, at one point in time, there were like 50,000 new views per day. And we're just like, what is going on? Like, that's the one that I was kind of like, oh, it's a good song. I mean, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
That's the one that exploded. So you'll be so surprised. Like, it's not going to work the way you think it's going to work. It's
That's
not going
great.
to happen the way you think it's going to happen. But if you just start doing it and start putting your stuff out there and continue to improve, there is no level that you cannot achieve in music. I promise. So I'm glad that you're asking these questions, because that means you want to get better. That means you're on that constant cycle of improvement. But while you're doing that, start figuring out ways to create things and make them public. That's key. And the more you do it, well, I think Brad Pitt, I'm going to totally misquote him, but the idea is sound. And that is, you want to know my acting training? Just watch my movies. Because I had like no acting training or anything until I just decided to he just, on a whim, he dropped out of college, his senior year of college, and decided to drive to Hollywood from Minnesota and decided to start acting.
Amazing.
And then you read the
I
bios of
believe it.
some of these actors that are like, they were raised in an acting family and they went to these specialty schools and and like, it's great. And that's great and wonderful. And there's a place for all that. but it doesn't necessarily have to be the path to get you there because Brad Pitt's just like, man, I had no training whatsoever. Just watch my movies. That was my training. So start. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed at where you can go. So I'm sorry, I've rambled. Ryan, do you have anything else?
No, I don't. I think it'd be. I think that's a good note to leave it on, and I think it's a good time for the next topic. Thanks
Okay.
for the question, Random, and I
Yes.
hope that I hope some of that was helpful. I hope obviously you probably knew all of that stuff, but hopefully hopefully it's encouraged you and you can move forward with your singing. Just keep up keep up the hard work, man, and then see where it takes you. So yeah, um, let's go to the next one, hey?
Yeah. What's the next one?
Okay. Well, we've got who's Ka? Don't even. There's one from Ka, becoming an accomplice. There's one from Tab. There's from Cherry, and there's also one that from Jack that just appeared too.
Yeah. Sophia asked in between questions, do you know what synesthesia is?
Oh yeah, synesthesia. It's if I remember correctly, that's the where you can see sound.
What?
Your brain hears sounds as colors or as abstract images, and it puts images in your brain. It's not like, oh yeah, this is the sound of a chair. It's like you hear a sound and it makes your brain think it's seeing colors in abstract ways.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's like a
Wow.
neuropathing issue, but it doesn't cause any problems. It's just really, really neat.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
cool. Sophia
Yeah.
has that.
Sophia has that. That's cool.
Nice. I do
Yeah.
not have that.
Me
That is
neither.
pretty interesting.
Yeah. Apparently, it's really, really interesting for people who have it. It's kind of like, I don't know, like sound is a trip. It's neat. Like that's cool. I've never experienced that, but yeah, some people have it. It's pretty cool. Kyle told me about it a long while back.
That
Hey,
Kyle, he's so
congratulations on
smart.
surviving the first month of school, Rosie.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
That can be tough.
Okay. So Ka is on the website. So just out of curiosity, Ka, if you are here, let us know. Um, but anyways, I think it'd be good to um let's do taps. Because
Okay.
as Princess wrote down here, it's late, so priority is theirs. Is there if there
Yeah.
pleases. Okay, that's what they were. That's what. Sorry. No, and it makes sense because Tef is from a different country, so he's far off in Europe. And that
Yes.
would be a good idea to hopefully allow him to go to sleep sometime this night. So let's do it.
And he has a smashing head of hair.
I love Tef's hair. I love Tef's face. I love Tef's current. Have you seen his profile picture on the website?
Is that Kirby?
No, it's a potart.
Oh, it's a
It's a
potard.
magical. It's a magical.
Oh, the
It's a
magical
magical potart
potard.
with flaming like magic hands rather and wings.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
So this is from Tef. It's called "Ideas Are Few," and it reads as follows. Um, again, time of horror is upon us. Is soon upon us. A moment in time where each fight their own battles, no matter what they believe in or lack thereof. It is a time where all get the grim reminder of that we're not totally alone. It is a time some wait all year for, while others gently ignore it or feel the pressure from it. It is a time where few can feel safe for everyone tries to make the perfect evening. This year, another set of friends has been accepting me under their roof for the occasion, which I feel blessed for. Yet that just makes another problem. What shall I do for my mother's Christmas gift? As a woman who has no need for anything in particular, what could be some possible options? For now, my usual idea is only a box of chocolate she will get from me. Help to help to get more ideas since I will not be celebrating with her. Oh, okay. Can you help me get some more ideas since I won't be celebrating with her?
Mm,
Got it. Okay, yeah. Hey, that's a good question. So you're that's cool. So you're currently being under a different roof this year for Christmas, and yeah, it is one of those dreaded holidays, and also a really it's a holiday some people look really forward to, some people dread, and then occasionally some people don't really mind either way. But yeah, it's one of those holidays that are a big deal. So yeah, what kind of gift should you get for your mother? That's a good question. And I can see
mm.
why it'd be worrying you. So anyhow, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Joe, see what his thoughts are.
Man, I'm always so terrible at finding Christmas gifts or picking Christmas gifts and picking any kind of gifts. I always get gift cards
Mm,
because that way I know they're going to be able to get something they want. Now, that's not exactly a meaningful gift. It's kind of the way for me to, as a very, very busy person, I'm like, you know what? I know that they're going to find anything they want on Amazon. So I get them an Amazon gift card, or
mm,
something. But one of the things, if you feel like being thoughtful, and I've done this before, and it generally tends to do pretty well, try and think of things that well, in particular, I think I do this with my wife, and I've also done it with my parents and everything like that, where it's just like, okay, I try and think of something where it it's something they like, but it's not obvious. It's something I remember that they're into, but it's not something that is obvious that they're into. Something specific and unique and kind of under the surface. Those
mm,
gifts tend to have a lot of meaning because it it shows that it truly is, like the thought counts more than the gift in that sense, because it shows that you're thinking of them enough to notice the things that are not obvious.
yeah,
And
totally.
so if you can think of something that your mom would like or that she's into that's not obvious, I guess. Something subtle. Now, it takes a little bit of thought to get there, and sometimes it takes some planning, sometimes even some creating. I'll tell you, the best gifts I get from my sons, they they go shopping with mom and they buy me stuff for, holidays and my birthday and all that kind of stuff. But my favorite part, honestly, is their handmade cards. They draw up cards, they color them, they do all kinds of great stuff. They draw pictures. They draw pictures. It might be what they're feeling that day, you know, but that's honestly all the other gifts that cost money. I could care less. I mean, I like them. Don't get me wrong, but the most meaningful are the hand drawn cards that they make. And I don't know that I'm not a gift idea person, so that's about the best I have for you, Tef. I could go on about, I could fill the air with words for a while, but I'd just be dancing around the point, I think. So I'm going to turn it over to Ryan because he's much more thoughtful than I am.
I don't know if I'm more thoughtful, but I think that you have a great idea there. Thinking about the person, what's really subtle, what is not obvious, that is something that they're into. And that could be something as simple as a stuffed animal. They happen to like drafts. or something, or they like refrigerator magnets for some reason, or they like chip clips, and you get them a really neat chip clip. Something subtle, that they like or they're into or use, that is really kind of, yeah, never something that's out in the open for other people to notice. I think that's good. Oh, see you later, Cherry. And then the other thing that I've recommended before on stream is it's kind of like my go-to idea. Um, and you can't do this every year. You could, but it's kind of like something special. And that is hand write a letter of appreciation.
Mm.
Write write like, it doesn't have to be super long. It could be like a little card, like this small, or it could be like a big whole piece of paper if you feel like it, where they have to like sit there and read it for like 20 minutes with tears in their eyes. Um, but basically just write what you appreciate about them, what you're thankful for them. So, you start your letter and you say, "Hey mom, like thank you so much for raising me with, these kind of values, or thank you for taking time out to do these things when I was little. I never really told you how much I appreciate them, but I do. Or thanks for accepting me, and even though I'm this kind of way, or thank you for, um, uh, thank you for being the great mother that you are," and just like lay out the different things that you remember them doing, or certain parts of them that you appreciate or look up to and take after. Maybe they're really good with their finances and not like splurging and spending their money everywhere. And so you appreciate that. You learned that lesson from them. So you can thank them for that in the letter. Things like that. A letter of appreciation or letter of thanks. Just saying, hey, I find these type of things to be awesome about you. Um, all of that kind of stuff. Writing a letter, I think, is one of those things. Yeah, it's not like it's usable, but it's something that they would like to hold on to, because it really touches their heart. Um, and it's something that, is really thoughtful and really meaningful and really deep and intimate. And it's one of those gifts where it's not just a gift, it increases your relationship. And I think that a lot of the times, the reason we give gifts should be to increase our relationship with somebody rather than, yeah, I mean, that's really the whole point because we want to give people joy, and that's part of our relationship with them. So, yeah, you could like, hey, I'm gonna here's a piece of paper and also a couple of tissues to go with it. That's a great idea. Here's a tissue box. Yeah, yeah. Also, look at the back. There's a paper there. That's what the tissue box is for. But yeah, um, yeah, something like that. That's usually the gift that I would recommend because that is really meaningful. People really respect and feel good about those type of gifts. So that's the best gift I can imagine that you can put out there for somebody. It's not a material good that they can use, but it's something that really touches their heart and, um, lets you know how you feel about them from the inside, the things that you don't normally say out loud. Um, and yeah, it's a really good gift. So that would be my recommendation.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's easy to get caught up in the trap of material goods for Christmas. It really is. I mean, it's I married into a family where there's kind of like this competition of who can get the most stuff with the least money. Like they're such amazing shoppers.
Really
They are. It's incredible. So they don't spend a lot of money, but they get all this stuff for the money. It's
nice.
amazing, right?
I walk into the store with $4, they come out with $8. It's like, how did you do that? Why do you have
Yeah.
more money than what you came in with?
Right. That's kind of what it seems like. Like they make each dollar go so far, you
Mm,
know. But then now the interesting thing is they've got a whole bunch of clutter to show for it.
mm, that's true.
And now the big pain in the neck is the cluttered basement. Now,
Yeah.
if my mother-in-law ever watches this stream, she's gonna be really mad at me. But
Well, you don't have to take any farther than that. We'll just leave it at that then.
right, I'm not gonna say any names. However, but Ryan, really, I think that hits the nail on the head because that's from the heart. You said, Tef, that your mom has no need for anything in particular. You know what? She could always use a reminder of her son's love.
Hmm. That's absolutely true.
Every parent,
Hmm.
could use that.
Absolutely.
And that's what it would be about anyway. That's what any gift is a symbol
Right.
of anyway.
Right.
And to really pour yourself into a letter like that, I think, yeah, that would be tremendously moving and a great reminder. And that would be a meaningful gift. So anyway.
Nice. N- that's pretty incredible, slightly. That's not just a testament to your that's a testament to your skill level as well as your idea, your genius. You got 16 stuffed animals with $20 because you went to claw machines, and you have to be
Wow.
really good at them because wow.
I got
Yeah.
one big old ball for $20 at a claw machine at the Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh, nice.
It's ridiculous.
Get these owls.
I'm gonna get one.
Oh, geez. I'm gonna get. You know what? I'm just gonna pay for it. Like, can you open the machine up? Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I
I
already
just want to
spent
buy
20. I
one.
don't want to spend another 20.
Ah, Tef, great question. Now comes the cold feet, but would she not then desire my presence more than a card of soul-searching thank? Why not both?
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
If it's
be
possible.
there.
If it's not possible for you to be there, then yeah, then hey,
Hmm.
I'm sure, you know, I would definitely, prefer to see my child in person than to receive a note. But if it wasn't going to be possible due to whatever circumstance, then the
Hmm.
note would mean a lot.
Hmm.
And it would mean that much more because, I would know, the circumstances prevented us being together at that point in time. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
mhm. Yep.
Yeah, FaceTime on technology, as long as she's savvy. Cool. Well, Taff, I hope some of those ideas are helpful.
Hmm.
I'm sure that if you tried any of these ideas, that it would go a long way.
Ooh. And then the spin comes on there. Well, I
Oh,
got no desire to hold Christmas in a toxic environment. Yeah, I don't have that desire either.
yeah, yeah. Usually I am like, man, what's the most toxic way I could spend Christmas? Yeah, I don't think anybody asks that question.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So
How can I
yeah,
stress myself out even more?
yeah, yeah. I
I
would
got an
stay away
idea.
from.
Let's cook a turkey. That'll stress me out.
No, wait. Oh no, it's Thanksgiving, Chinese Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's KFC. Oh, wait,
Oh
no.
no, Japanese Christmas is KFC.
Christmas is KFC. That's right.
Chinese
Okay.
Chinese Thanksgiving is your family.
That's right. Not Thanksgiving. It's Christmas.
Oh, is it Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanksgiving is still turkey, but we don't do a whole turkey anymore because there's too much margin for error and it's a big pain in the butt. So we get a big old
Sure is.
couple of turkey breasts,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, bake
Mm-hmm.
those and have turkey because not
Chinese
very many.
Thanksgiving was a different holiday. It was
I'm.
Halloween.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's
remember
right.
last year we talked about Chinese Thanksgiving being Halloween because I was
Yes,
trying to say your Christmas, if you eat Chinese on Christmas, I don't know how I ended up saying Chinese Thanksgiving. So then Chinese Thanksgiving, because I mentioned your wife and I said, hey, oh yeah, her favorite holiday, Chinese Thanksgiving,
that's right.
which I
Because it's
actually meant,
Halloween.
which was Halloween because Halloween's her favorite holiday.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Halloween's fun.
It was a hurlemage of inside jokes.
Tef. Tef says holidays is a weird tradition. They should just get canceled.
Yeah, but then everyone would have to work. And then work would never be canceled.
I know. I want to have the day off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's all about taking time off of work now.
Mm-hmm. That's all that they're there for.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, if you really get into what the holiday is about,
Mm-hmm.
then that's
Then
the
it makes
reason
sense.
for the holiday. Like dig into the holiday itself.
Mm-hmm.
People celebrate St. Patrick's Day. They don't think about St. Patrick at all.
I
They
know.
think about going. I'm gonna go drinking from morning till night, man. We're gonna crawl from
Mm-hmm.
bar to bar, and it's gonna be great. It's like
And I'm gonna wear green.
nobody actually thinks about the St. Patrick
Same with
who makes.
Valentine's Day. No one
Yeah,
thinks about Saint Valentine.
right. Yep.
Yep.
And Christmas, no. Well, we think about Jesus, but Saint Nicholas, no one thinks about how he punched another guy, and
Right? Saint Nicholas is
in the face.
awesome.
Saint Nicholas rocks.
Saint Nicholas rocks, and so does Saint Patrick. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys, if you don't know their story, they rock. They
yeah.
they're yes, yes. Saint Nicholas punched a dude in the face, and yeah, Saint Patrick like had his battles too. They were
With
warriors.
actual demons that
Yeah,
do exist, according to
yeah.
the Book of Joe.
According to the Book of Joe, actually, demons do exist. That comes from the Book of Joe. That's right.
Yes, yes. Well, but at any rate, so yeah, holidays are great. Dig into the reason the holiday exists
Yeah,
in
then
the
it'll be more
tradition.
meaningful.
Yep. So, yep, the Saints are awesome, Akil. They've done some pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
According to the Book of Joe, such a sacred text.
Oh my gosh.
You guys are amazing. Well, Tef, hopefully that can help you out. I know sometimes the holidays can be frustrating. I know. Believe me.
Saint Valentine, Sophia was pretty cool too. He, if I remember correctly, wherever he lived at the time, they banned the idea of marriage. The government banned marriage because they knew that if people weren't marrying anymore, it would, um, it would make people less capable at overthrowing the government. And that sounds crazy, but that's kind of how it went. They said, well, we're not going to allow people to marry anymore. It will constrict people into not having families. And because they don't have families, everyone's going to not be able to, be together, be strong together type of thing. Sounds crazy. But that was what the government was doing. And so if I remember correctly, this is Valentine's story. It could have been a different saint, but if I remember this was Valentine, Valentine went into the catacombs with people and married people together in secrecy, basically on the grave sites of like where like they would bury people in the catacombs. But anyways, it's pretty cool. He was a pretty cool guy. He which was, by the way, punishable unto death by law if he got caught. So he was marrying people knowing that other people knew that he was marrying people, so he was trying to hide, and he would like hide in town and find ways to get out of like really scary situations and stuff. It's pretty neat. I think it was Valentine. It could have been a different saint though. I might be confusing too. So I don't know. I would do the research yourself.
Yeah. And slightly animated, Santa didn't punch a demon. Santa punched a person.
Saint
Saint
Patrick.
Patrick
Yeah.
battled demons.
Yeah. Yep. So, anyways,
Yeah.
Moving
They're pretty
forward.
cool.
Thank you, Tef.
Santa punched a guy. He did. Right in the face.
Right in the face. Yep.
Yep.
Like, yeah, yeah. You would have
I
too
think
if you were
it
him.
wasn't it Arius, I think it was his name.
Yeah, yeah, because he was putting out some crazy ideas that were like
Mhm.
super blasphemous,
Yep, he was like,
and Santa had enough of it. He was like, "Dude,
bang.
stop!" Punched him in the face.
Uh,
Yeah,
but I don't think he was wearing the red hat and the like
yeah, yeah.
the yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thanks for the question, Tef.
Mhm. Favorite saint? There's a lot of them that are really good, but
Mhm.
so it's hard to say. I really like Saint Basil. He's amazing. Like Giovanni
Well,
Bosco, Joseph. It's pretty
yeah,
good. Yeah.
that's mine.
Yep. There's lots of them out there that are
Goes
really
that
cool.
it's like my name, like
Patrick is awesome too.
uh,
Can't really tell you because there's
there's a
so many
lot.
good ones.
There's zillions of them, it seems, and you dig into their lives and you realize, wow, they did some really cool stuff. So, um, yeah.
Hmm. Cool. Well, yeah, let's move on to the next subject here.
Excuse me.
Thank you again, Tef. Good question. And yeah, so you said the toxic environment is not at your mother's, it's between your siblings. Um,
Mm,
yeah. So I get it. I get it if you don't want to be there, but you'd rather you know, it's up to you. But I think that um yeah, just do whatever you feel is the best thing you can do. Sometimes excusing yourself to prevent other people's from having a bad day because you know that if you're there, it's gonna be worse. It's okay to just not be there, and then write a letter in your presence. That or be your presence. I don't know. I think that would be fine, but it's up to you. Whatever you think is the right idea. Um, yeah, for your sanity. Yeah, but yeah, whatever you want to do. I hope that you come up with a great gift that she loves, and rather so that she feels loved. Um, but yeah, on to the next.
yeah.
Thanks, Steph.
Yes, and good luck. Let us know your progress.
Yeah, let us know what you decide to do.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's see. Is Cherry left, didn't they? Yeah, Cherry
Yes,
left.
Cherry
Okay.
left. That's also
Hyrule, if you're here,
Starlight, right?
cool. But um, yeah, Cherry Starlight. Yeah. Jack, are you still here? I know Akil's here, but every time we try to do Akil's, he's always like, "Nah, I'm not done yet." So Akil, if you are done, let me know. We could maybe touch on we could do yours, but yeah, see, yeah, yeah.
Leaving,
Akil's like, all
yeah.
right, well, I gotta get going now. So I think they said my name. So yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta get going.
Akil, I gotta tell you, we were talking about Tef's hair. Akil's got great hair.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got my hair, dude. At least the way
Oh
like
yeah, that's
he sent
right.
the picture and it was
Hmm.
awesome. I was like, yeah, man.
Like
Nice.
father, like son.
Mhm. It's clean.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I do remember that picture. He looks great.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Keel's young. He looks awesome.
Got a
I like
great
him.
head.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have a good
God
night.
only made a few
What?
perfect heads. The
Yeah,
rest
Akil
he
has
put
one of
hair
them.
on.
Yeah, that's true. That's my issue. That's why I have hair. My
Yep.
head's not
Because
very
your head's
perfect.
weird, man.
Oh,
Like
it
your head is
is.
a weird.
Yeah.
Like if Ryan ever shaved his head, you'd know. You'd be like, "Whoa, what?"
Yeah.
You'd be like,
What's going on
"What
up
is
there?
that? What is that?"
Yeah. Why do you have, are those baby rats in your head? No, that's just how my head looks. It's weird.
Right.
Um, so Jack, I don't know if Jack is here anymore, actually. They didn't respond when I asked.
Yeah. But Sparrow's here.
That's right.
Sparrow is
Sparrow is
here. Is
here.
here.
Sparrow
Right.
is here. Is here. His name
Good.
checks out.
At least
Yeah.
I thought it's been a while since Sparrow has posted anything in the chat.
Is Sparrow is here? Is he here?
Sparrow is here. Are you here? Sparrow is
Are you
here.
here? Sparrow is here.
Oh, nope. Sparrow's here. Said, well, gotta go.
Bummer.
A while back.
All right. All right. Who wants to do one?
I mean, we could sit here and talk about saints forever. Because there's a bazillion of them. I tell you, one of my favorite patron saints is Saint Homobonus.
Homobonus.
Yep. Saint Homobonus.
He's pretty cool.
You're gonna be like, what?
Yeah, tell us about Saint Homobonus.
Saint Homobonus is the patron saint of businessmen. And yeah. Kareen, welcome. Hey.
Homobonus.
Homobonus. Let's see. Homobonus. No joke. That's who it is.
That's their real name.
Yep.
Oh, they are. Okay, Kareen is Ka from the website.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Well, hey.
Is it Kareen or is it Karinet? Or is it neither of those? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Thanks for posting and for coming. We are just in a place where we are looking for the next topic, so you showed up at the perfect time. Let's do it.
Which if Ryan or Joe has the deepest voice? Ryan.
Yeah, probably me. Well, not unnatural. Natural voice. I don't know. Yours is
much lower.
Do you really think so?
Yes, I do.
Maybe.
All right. Well, let's do this topic rather than.
Yeah. Let's not battle between the lowness of our voices.
Yes, let's not.
Yes. Oh, score and 3 nights ago.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Yes, let's not do that.
All right. This next topic will do as low as possible. Make sure that everyone is pleased. All right. No. Okay. So this is from Ka. The topic here. I could listen to this for longer, actually. All right. This is from Ka, becoming an accomplice. Hello, I am Ka, 19 years old, and I'm a bit of a situation. All right, now, I'm gonna actually do this one legitimately. Okay, so this is from Ka. It's called Becoming an Accomplice, and it reads as follows. Hello, I'm Ka, 19 years old, and I'm in a bit of a situation. A few months ago, July to be specific, a relative of mine came over to fix his computer. Me and my father are kind of makeshift tech support for computers and smartphones and have been for a long time, but I digress. I like your use of language here. Anyways, I wasn't awake at the time, but when I woke up, I noticed a power supply unit in the workshop. It was just what I needed for a new graphics card. A while later, I asked about it to my father, and he told me he had taken it. Sorry, something was in the way of the text. He had taken it from that relative's computer. His justifications were that he didn't need it for his PC anyways, and suggested I use it with the new graphics card since my PC had been in need of an upgrade for some time already. I thought hard about it and decided not to use it due to where it had come from. He asked me if I was sure and told me he was going to use it on a PC he was hired to set up. I would keep my regular setup that was growing depreciated. Hold on. Deprecated.
That word is deprecated.
Okay, growing deprecated, but still did its job decently enough. And for some time, that was that. I didn't tell anyone about it. The situation died, and I stopped thinking about it altogether. That is, until yesterday. Over the last week, my PC had been more unstable than usual. I mostly ignored it since there wasn't that much I could do about it. Yesterday, however, it became too big of a problem to ignore. I've had my graphics card for 9 years, and constant use took its toll on it. Yeah. To put it simply, my GPU was dead. The best spare I could find was half as good as mine, and I noticed on the corner of the workshop the PC Dad was working on. Turns out there was one essential part missing, and the guy hadn't paid for it yet. I asked Dad about it and told him of my GPU, and he told me I could borrow that one until the guy paid for the last part. The catch is that for the graphics card to work, I need the power supply too. And the only one that was compatible was the one Dad took from our relative's PC. Initially, I was fine with that, but as I was swapping the parts, it started to weigh down on me. Eventually, I stopped and put everything back together, not wanting to get involved in this. I'm not sure if there is even a question to be had here, but what are your thoughts? A few notes. My father's justification for doing this is that we don't tend to have a lot of money to spare for parts. Even PC, even the PC Dad was asked to set up was an odd case as the guy wanted a gamer PC but was willing to pay a lot less than what he needed for the level of performance he wanted. My justification was that I was going to borrow it until I could make things right on my own, but it wasn't enough. I'm currently unemployed, but the end of the year but the end of the year rush is a good opportunity for me to get a job. When that happens, I hope I'll be able to start saving up for a card, but that will take forever since I have some other bills to handle as well. Recently, I've also been fixated on the idea of competitive gaming. Think EVO and LCS. But with the spare I have right now, training would be extremely difficult for League of Legends and literally impossible for CS:GO. When fighting games, yeah, oh, and fighting games. A job would a job would put a time strain as well, but it's nothing that can't be dealt with since I don't have university to deal with anyways. That is what hurts the most because it hasn't even been a week since I realized I wanted to go through with this, and I refuse to just roll over and ignore that desire now since I have done that for over 3 years already. Well, there you go.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Tef also replied to yours if you hadn't seen it already there, Ka. Um, I would check that out. But there we go. Thanks for the post, and yeah, lots of different things going on. I support your decision and why you thought you didn't want to put the computer together with other parts that were being presented to you. So yeah, I'm just gonna give it over to Joe and see what his thoughts are, like you asked.
Well, Ka, one of the things that I've learned is that well, first of all, thank you very much for posting. That is a very well, this is a very well thought out issue, and it's got multiple complexities with it. But I think the bottom line is, um, your conscience is kind of like your guide. And when you go against your conscience, it weakens your conscience, if that makes sense. Like I've known that to be true throughout my life, and there have been times when my conscience is strong and my conscience is weak, and I like to think that now my conscience is better informed than it ever has been, hopefully. And so there are times when I just get that gut feeling like I'm about to do something, and I just I know it's the wrong thing to do. Sometimes I don't even know necessarily why it's the wrong thing to do. And so I'll have this internal conversation with myself, and I'll be like, okay, why do I feel bad about this? What is the underlying issue? What is going on? Because at the outset, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that big a deal. Nobody's gonna be hurting because of it. It's all whatever. Basically, I can think of all the justifications in my head to do the thing, but still, I have this feeling that's like, no, that's wrong. And if you've got a concrete reason in your head, you're like, okay, this is why it's wrong. This is why I feel it's wrong. Then I would encourage you, stand on the line with your conscience. You will feel better about it in the long run. I promise. It will not weigh you down. I mean, right now you're dealing with some challenges with your computer, clearly. You're getting to borrow something that'll help make it work, yes, which is good. But I think you're going to feel so much better about yourself, and you're going to feel so much better about your decision if you hold a line on your conscience and just say, yep, I'm going to follow through with what I know to be correct in this situation. There have been times when I have, I've been working and I've been doing inspections or something, and I will forget to do something. I'll forget to leave a card, or I'll forget to leave a letter or whatever, or I'll have the wrong letter or something, and I'll, you know, and the temptation is there. It's like I can just put in the notes that I left it, and no one would know. Even though I don't have a picture of it, I can just say I handed it to him, whatever, even though I didn't. I've never handed him anything at that property. And I could just say I did. And it's interesting. I'll fight with myself and I'll make up my mind. I'm like, nope, no one's ever going to know. I'm just going to do it this way because no one's ever going to know and no one's ever going to care. And it's not going to be a big deal anyway. And I'll fight with myself for like a half an hour. And then finally, eventually, I'll decide to drive back out there and leave the dang thing on the door. Because it's like, no, I can't fight with my conscience that long. It really, more and more, it starts to weigh me down. And I'm like, I got to do the right thing here. So regardless of everything that's going on with the computer itself, what's going on in your heart and in your mind, that's far more important than anything that's going on with the machine that you have. So stand on your conscience is my recommendation. Follow that. That voice is there for a reason. And I think you're on the right track here. But yeah, I think probably it's really a question of priority at that point. You just and I'll tell you, the relationship you have with yourself and with your conscience is much more important than the relationship you have with a machine or any external thing or money. A lot of times people will be like, money. I remember I was at a gas station not too long ago, and I was buying a newspaper, and it was $3.
Seems
And
odd.
did I buy a newspaper?
Yeah.
I bought
I just don't expect you to do it.
Yeah, no, I buy a newspaper every Sunday for my in-laws because I go there Sunday.
Okay. I was like, it's got to be for somebody else.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
don't read the newspaper. It's called, whatever.
Got it. Yep. Got it.
It's nonsense. But they, one thing they like to have all the ads that are in there from all the week's deals. Hey, super shoppers,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So at any rate, but I picked that up, and it's $3 on Sundays, and so I gave her 20. She gave me $18 back. And so we're just talking. We're just talking, whatever, we're doing the transaction, oh, here's your change, da, 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 da. And I looked and I knew it was $1 more. And so we were just still talking, and I didn't even say anything, but I just handed her the dollar. I just like held it out to her while we're having our conversation. And she looks at me and she looks at the dollar. She's like, "Oh, did I give you too much?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, this everything's been $18 change like this whole day so far. Like it was just a habit." She's like, "Oh, thank you for doing that." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's a dollar. I'm gonna sell out my character for a dollar?" And I'm like, Not for a dollar." And then in the back, I hear, "Might do it for a million."
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, it's funny. And, a lot of people probably would for $1 million. But even then, $1 million isn't worth a disruption in your conscience.
Because every time you spend any bit of that million, which is going
Mhm.
to take you a long time to spend.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, not necessarily.
You could
Because you'll
spend
get
it
a,
instantly. There's
yeah,
stuff that costs $1 million out there.
that's true.
I mean, I learned you could buy some slides, some like flip-flop sandal slides for like $650 if you
That's
want.
insane. That's
I don't know,
insane.
it's crazy. But yeah, I could burn through it in 2 hours. Yes, you could. Um, yeah. So there's a couple updates here.
Hmm.
Or refusing the first time did stop it from becoming a weight up until now. So I see your point. Almost be okay.
Hmm. Yeah, they're
Um,
responding to you as you were talking. So yeah.
asking is an option considering it was taken in a less than legal way. Okay. Yeah. Um, so yeah, follow your conscience. You will feel better. You'll find a way to get a card. And here's the thing. I've learned my life takes on a whole new dimension when rather than saying I can't afford this, rather than making that statement, I can't afford this. Instead, I ask, how can I afford this? Now, I can't afford it right now, but how can I put myself in the position to where I can afford it? What can I do that will make it so I can afford this? We're looking at a whole bunch of stuff. I was just talking, in fact, just the other day, I was talking to Kyle, Ryan's brother, about stuff we're doing at BSS right now, and about all the different things that we're crossing lines of possibility that I was like, what? We've got plush figures, books, CDs. I recorded and
Spectacle.
manufactured. I've done that before. USB drives, I'd never done that before. The book that's getting put together right now, which incidentally, we're going to have some samples and we're going to have some stuff put up for everybody who supported the Kickstarter campaign. That's going to be coming soon. We're working on all that right now. It's cool, but we're crossing these lines. I never would have thought we'd be able to do this. It was always just, that was a different area. Book publishing, plush figure manufacturing, those are all like impossible to me. Now it's just, hey, Kyle's really good at asking the right question. How can we do this? Rather than we can't do this, which is the one I'd always say, oh, we'll never do that. That's crazy. Why would we ever be able to do that? Other people do that. We wouldn't be able to do that. Kyle's like, no, how can we do this? And before you know, he's got manufacturers lined up and he's like analyzed their statistics and he's analyzed all the metrics and the finances and everything. And he's figured out the best deal, the best money. And okay, we're going with this people and this is how it's going to be done. And by the way, Joe, you're helping. Okay.
You're the one that started it, man.
Started what?
You're the one that started the whole concept of, the Kickstarter. So
Oh yeah, well, hey, I didn't know everything was gonna. It was crazy, but at any rate, yeah, you can get yourself a great graphics card. There's a way, and you can do it legit, and you will. So follow your conscience. Do what you know to be right. You'll sleep easier and you'll have a victory. This gives you a chance to have a real victory where you're going to be able to be like, oh, I actually did something to earn that graphics card. I had the easy option there on the table. I could have taken it, but instead I worked and I achieved, and now I have that, and now that thing that you're going to have is much more valuable, because not only is it a thing that's going to enable you to play games and see your computer screen, right? But also it's almost like a trophy. It's almost like hey, I achieved this too. So it adds a whole new layer. So anyway, I've talked for a while. I'm gonna turn it over to Ryan. So
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Ryan, say words of wisdom and
Words of
amazingness.
wisdom. What was the last part? I talked over you. I'm sorry.
And amazingness.
Words of wisdom and amazingness.
Mhm.
I got you covered. Yeah, Kareen, I think this is a a great topic, and I have to hand it to you. When you are in a position where your relative, and not just a relative, your father, is kind of pushing you in a direction that is that you feel goes against your conscience, goes against your morals, um, and you are being put in that circumstance, and you're choosing to make you're choosing to take the option of, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get involved with that scene. I don't want to be part of that immoral um, activity or whatever. I think that says a lot about who you are. I think that says a lot about your inner strength, and your resolve, and that you've got the right mind that will lead you to um, virtue, which leads you to happiness. I have to tell you something. You know why? Look, on this thing you said recently, you've been fixated on the idea of competitive gaming, um, and so here's a question for you, and it's one that has an answer. I'm going to answer it for you. But the answer is to kind of get at an entirely different point. So you want to, perhaps be a professional gamer, right? Why?
Mm.
The ultimate answer there is because you want to be happy, right? Almost most humans, almost the reason we do anything in life is because we believe that will lead us to happiness. And that is great. But if you now look back at the other problem, right? And you say, should I take this so that I could pursue this career, or should I not? And then put the career kind of in a little bit of a teetering spot and be able to do it eventually. Um, well, if your point of becoming a competitive gamer is for self fulfillment, self desire, fulfilling that desire of yourself, that happiness that you naturally long for, being proud of yourself for your accomplishments, that's great. But if you're proud of yourself, you're going to be happy. But if you are not proud of yourself, you will not be happy.
Mhm.
Um, I think a lot of times people get depressed in life. Depression is when you are thinking, ultimately, it's a habit of thinking negatively about yourself. And a lot of times, what leads us into feeling depressed is when we know we've done something wrong, when
Mm.
we are not proud of who we are. We look at
Mhm.
ourselves and we don't like what we see because we are not proud of ourselves. And sometimes that's because of how people have treated us. Sometimes it's just the way we are raised to think certain ways about ourselves. And that's not anybody's fault. But sometimes it's because we're choosing to do the things we know we shouldn't be doing. And we are not happy with that. We are not content inside. We don't have happiness. Instead, we have this depression. And so If the whole point of having a computer that works is that you can have that pleasure and happiness of a computer that works for you, it does what you want it to do, but you forego the happiness because you've taken on the ability to do it by doing something that you're not proud of, in the end, you don't get what you want. In the end, the whole point of doing it is forfeit. But if you go the right route and if you do the things that you know that you'll be proud of yourself for doing, um, then you'll have happiness the whole way through. Um, I think something that our current era, our current age, current culture that we live in, if you look at movies and you look at entertainments of all sorts of different types, music, etc., you'll hear people say, chase your dreams
Mm.
because that's what makes you happy. But that's wrong. Dreams don't make us happy. You can accomplish your dream and still be upset.
Mhm. It's true.
You can accomplish anything you want in life and still have a perspective that you hate yourself inside. And so the dream doesn't, I think a lot of people chase their dreams because that's what they think is going to make them happy. But in the end, it's not the dream that makes them happy, it's who they are inside. It's always who we are inside that determines whether we accept ourselves or not, whether we're happy or not. And so dreams are great. Everyone needs to chase their dreams. They're, that's part of who we are. We're supposed to do that. And going down that route is hard, especially when we're trying to do it the right way. But that builds inside of us, that difficulty builds inside of us virtue so that we can learn and become even more happy, more capable, stronger people, spreading more joy and goodness throughout the world because we went through those difficulties. More capable of loving, more capable of helping others, more capable of being on our own. All of these things we learn along the way for chasing that dream. But we don't learn those things if we take the shortcuts that are immoral. If we get to our dream by taking the immoral shortcuts and we don't go through the process of difficulty that it takes to actually achieve that, what you end up with is somebody who's in a position that can't handle it. You see a lot of times you can see like famous people like um, I don't really want to call anybody's names, but you can come up with your own examples. A lot of times you'll see famous musicians who got really famous um, when they were young, and then they grow up and they can't handle it. Um, and they start to do some really crazy bad stuff, and they get into all sorts of trouble, and they spread all kinds of bad messages to other young people, and it's not a pretty sight.
Mhm.
Sometimes you see they end up really depressed. Sometimes they kill themselves. Sometimes they just get involved in all sorts of different activities that, yeah, you're just like, why are you doing this? What led you down that path? And sometimes you see they just sell themselves out, like, sex sells. So they just go full board onto that train.
Mm.
Um, and it's like, why? That doesn't make you happier as a human being. It doesn't make you a better human being.
The
But
only thing is when you were saying spread all types of bad messages, I thought you were gonna say, like, spread all kinds of diseases.
oh yeah, that too. Yeah, that's a thing. Okay, yeah, yeah, true. But
Anyway,
yeah, you
sorry.
get my point.
Yeah.
Some people, they find their way into something. It's not like they did that on purpose. They just kind of got put in that place before they ever had the struggle of achieving it themselves, right? And you don't want to be that person. You want to have to fight for what's right, standing up and being proud of yourself the whole way through. You'll find yourself at the end achieving what you are going to achieve either way, but in a place where you can control yourself, in a place where you have control over your happiness. And it's not like my happiness is dependent on everybody else who's telling me what to do and all they're telling me all this immoral stuff. It's a really bad place to be because those people don't find happiness because they don't have the virtues. So I think that you've made the right choices so far, and I'm proud of you. And I'm just gonna say, like, that we were gonna say this. Just keep going that path. Keep being strong. But I just want to tell you the reasons why that's so important. Um, because it really, really is. Just as Joe was talking about, your conscience, it matters. If your conscience is there to aid you.
Mhm.
It's not some weird device that's supposed to hold you back. It is supposed to hold you back, but it's holding you back from doing things that are not good for you.
Mhm.
Um, everybody's life, almost daily, you're confronted with something that isn't good to do. And you get to make that choice. Will I do it or will I not? And we're all human. We all have that happen to us every single day, almost. And we get to make that choice. Do I do it or do I not do it? Sometimes you can just do it and get away with it and be like, yeah, I got away with it. But it doesn't build you into a better man. But when you are faced with that option and you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna choose not to do it because I want to, but I'm going to say no because I know that's not good for me or anybody else. You feel proud of yourself inside and you start to practice the virtue of self-control. And you start to, with self-control, then you're more capable of going out into the world and doing the things that you need to get done. Whether that be just talking to a person that maybe you're afraid to talk to. But because you've been able to control yourself so far, you can control yourself enough to walk up to that person and just start up a conversation like, hey, I noticed that you're the president of whatever. That's so awesome. How did you get into that position? Right? Striking up a conversation with somebody who's high up is really difficult for a lot of people. But if you've got self control, you can just go up there and do it, even if you are afraid, because you've control over yourself. And that's just one virtue that you learn by acting out what your conscience is trying to drive you towards. So,
Mm.
um, anyways, all that said, I'm proud of you. I think you're making the right choices, and just keep going that, keep standing strong and holding that line,
Mhm.
like Joe was saying. So, yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I've been reading some of the chat as it goes. My Gary says humans naturally love the darkness and hate the light. And I think that that is true because we're I think naturally we're a bit self-centered, and self-centeredness always leads to darkness. Like really, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it leads to being alone.
well, it
Well, no.
leads to just negative feelings.
Mm,
The more we try to be all about ourselves and what we want. And that's why what Ryan was saying was so important. This whole mantra of chase your dreams. What's the reason for chasing your dreams? Is it so you can be fulfilled in yourself? So you can get everything you want for yourself? And
right.
that's all a focus on self. When really true joy, true happiness comes from like the sacrifice of ourselves for the betterment of those around us, for the betterment of the world around us. Like when we give of ourselves freely in order to for not getting something in return, not so we're going to achieve whatever we got. Not, I mean, and achievements are great, but and they can be fulfilling and they can be awesome along the way, but they can be empty if it's all about ourselves. They can be so much more fulfilling if it's about serving the world around us and serving the people around us and really reaching out, to do something good in the world and for the world. And, you know, it's so interesting. You say you want to be a professional gamer, and Ryan says why? And I would ask the same thing. Why? And I would take it another step and say, how can being a professional gamer serve others in the world? How can you use that as a gift for the world? In what ways can that be a gift for entertainment value? Yeah, absolutely. My kids have been into watching a guy named Unspeakable play Minecraft. They're into
That's
Minecraft, big into
that's
Minecraft right now.
unspeakable.
I know.
I never heard of him
And
actually. So
I
okay,
don't I
that's
I
cool.
don't actually mind saying his name on here. I mean, he's got a huge YouTube channel, he's got multiple YouTube channels, but his language is clean. So
Cool.
that's one of the things I'm like, hey, I can feel good with my kids watching this guy because his language is clean, and he doesn't talk about nasty stuff. He's fun and he enjoys playing. The interesting thing is, I remember watching one of his videos. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know what's gonna go out tonight. I've been recording for like 12 hours," and he's just playing Minecraft and he's talking about stuff. And he's actually sitting there. He's he's going through the time. If you've ever played Minecraft, you know that it takes time to mine stuff. You want to get your inventory of ores, coal and gold and iron and all that stuff. It takes time. You're just gonna be down there mining for a long time. And so he's just sitting there. He's got this whole pep talk going of like achieving your goals and running after your goals. And, he's like setting goals. And everybody said I wouldn't have this YouTube channel. And now I have it. And, all those people who said it would never happen, I come back to them now and I tell them what they said. And they're like, I never said that. I'm like, yes, you did. It's the same. Like, yeah. So Sophia says, when I was younger, I loved that guy. Yeah, he's absolutely fun. But how can you take your gaming and then how can you create something that's going to serve the world? How can you create something that's going to be good for the world?
I could say another way to term that is how do you turn that into something valuable beyond
Yes.
yourself?
Beyond you, exactly. Because the more you do it just for yourself, the more it's going to lead to just being unfulfilling. Bishop Robert Barron has said there's a picture of a really bloody picture of the crucifixion of Jesus, and he said he was talking to a priest friend of his, and he said that is a portrait of the most fulfilled a person can be because it was a total gift of self for the world, right? If you believe what Christians believe, what Jesus did, that's the story. If you take that story, then that is the most fulfilled a person can be when they fully give themselves for the sake of the world, for the sake of others. Now, I'm not saying you're supposed to die. That's not what I'm saying here. But how can you make your life a gift? How can you make your abilities a gift? Like Ryan said, how can you turn it into something valuable? How can you turn it into something that's going to serve the world around you? You do that. And I'll tell you, the road's not going to be easy because it never is. But that will lead to inner peace. It will lead to inner joy. It will lead to actually being fulfilled and happy.
And it will increase your encouragement and strength and persistence throughout. Because if you are doing something specifically just for yourself, um, at some point you find it's actually just easy to give up because you're the only one on the line.
Mhm.
If you're pressured into something and it's like, you know what, I just have to drop it. You know, it's easy to drop it because it's only you.
Mhm.
But if it's for more than just yourself, a lot of times then you have and yeah, you get a support community, or maybe you're doing it with a bunch of friends. You and a group of people are in it together. Anything. Now all of a sudden you have conviction of not just yourself. You say there's more than just me on the line here, and it gives you that strength to persist. And a lot of times, let me tell you, the biggest difference between success and failure at anything, at anybody ever trying to achieve any dream ever, the biggest difference, in fact, what they would say is the number one thing that determines whether people are, that splits people up between whether they achieved their dreams or didn't, is whether they gave up or not. Ultimately, your persistence is one of the most important things
Mhm.
in life, in chasing anything. So, but yeah, no, these
Yep.
are really good questions, and I hope that you ponder them. But and I hope you find really great answers.
Yeah. You've
Oh,
got
welcome home, Jeff.
um, you've got a great heart,
Hmm.
Ka, and it shows. Your integrity shows. I would say, please just don't cut corners on that integrity. Stand with your conscience, and you will be more fulfilled. You'll be more happy because, like Ryan was saying, what is it that we're really looking for? And that's happiness and fulfillment. That's what we're truly looking for. Behind anything we want, what we really want is satisfaction.
And I
And
can't get no,
satisfaction,
sorry.
right? It never comes from the material thing. It never does. You want a thing because you think it's going to make you more fulfilled, but the fulfillment never comes from the thing itself. Now, you may get more fulfillment out of it if you achieve a goal in order to attain it. Yes, because you worked hard for it. You'll get even more if you serve others in the pursuit of that. But I would say, and here's my one big statement, and
Oh,
it's going to be controversial.
oh,
But what we're really seeking is God. And I just let you ponder that.
fair enough.
So,
It is controversial. You had me. I was like, is
okay,
he really
I'm
gonna
gonna
say something
I'm
controversial
gonna throw it
at
out
all?
there. Yeah, I said the word God. That's
Yeah, you said
controversial.
the word God, so now I guess you'll find yourself under arrest by the
That's right.
powers that be pretty soon here.
Oh no, they're gonna take down my bookshelf.
Too bad it's an illusion, anyways.
It's fake.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep. Wow. So thanks, Kareen.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think that it's really awesome of you to post it here, and thanks for allowing us to talk about it for a while. Hopefully, something in what all that we said is useful to you in continuing forward down that path that you're chasing. So
Mhm.
yeah, best of wishes to you.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you guys all for such a great
Hmm.
stream. Wow. Wow. We covered a lot of ground. We did some great stuff. A lot of names that I hadn't recognized. We heard Cherry's back now,
Hey,
just
Jerry's
for
back.
the end.
Just for you.
Oh man, Little Miss Fancy. It's great to see you here.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen you here. Um, now that's just me. If you've been here before, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm. It's new. The name is new to me myself, so I think that I've not seen them before. So, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, you had a good time. I know we did. Um, yeah. So, this is the end of the stream. Anybody who popped on just recently, sorry that we weren't able to spend more time with you, but of course, we do this every Wednesday. We'll be back next Wednesday at about sometime between 8:30 and 9 um
Ish.
ish on every Wednesday Eastern time. um so yeah,
Hmm. Yes.
cool. Well, we love you guys, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Next time on the live stream, it'll be
Bye.
grand.
Grand.
Yeah. Da-da-da.